City TV, and joining me today, we have a very special guest. We're at George Washington High School, and joining me is Reginald Purvis, the leader of the Marching Eagles, and a familiar face to many here in the community. He's led the Marching Eagles for over 30 years, and we thought we'd spend a little time with these kids today as they've been out in the heat for the last couple of weeks getting ready for the upcoming season, and they've got a busy season ahead. So I know many of you see them on the football field on Friday nights here at George Washington, but they also do a lot in the community. And we're going to talk a little bit about that as well. And then they'll be making some very special trips throughout the fall season, performing and representing Danville in such a positive way, which they have done over the years. So, Mr. Purvis, I really appreciate you taking the time to join us today and giving us an inside look into the Marching Eagles.
Well, thank you, Mark, for having us today.
All right. Let's talk a little bit about these wonderful children that you have. Tell me a little bit about the number of kids that we have this year in the Marching Eagles and what they've been doing over the last couple of weeks, because they got started even before the first bell rang here at George Washington High School.
You're exactly right. The Marching Eagles, I always say, is one of the largest teams that we have at George Washington High School. You know, we average anywhere between 90 to 105 kids who participate in the program. This year we have, I believe it's 98. And it's made up of the instrumentalists, the kids who play the flutes and the clarinets and the saxes and the trumpets, and we also have the drum line, which everybody loves to hear, and the color guard girls, which is the flags and the rifles. And it's just a big family of young people that want to make music and represent themselves in a positive way.
Well, I know my wife is a former Marching Eagle and graduated here in 1996, so she has very fond memories of the band, and I know you've been putting together great ensembles for the last 30 years, Mr. Purvis, so hats off to you for that, and I know you continue to do that. But as you mentioned, you told me before, okay, it's not all about Mr. Purvis, so we're gonna thank him, but he has a lot of people behind the scenes, a lot of parents that volunteer time to get these kids here, the commitment that goes into making this a very special unit here at George Washington High School. But tell me a little bit about what you all have been doing over the last couple of weeks, because it's been hot outside, but I've seen them as well. I've driven by on Memorial Drive. Tell me a little bit about what they've been doing this year.
Well, like I said, the band is a big family. We serve a dual purpose when it comes to the Marching Eagles. You know, we're first and foremost, we're a pep band to support the football team and the cheerleaders and provide music for the audience that comes to the football games and the basketball games and the different activities that we have here at the school. But we're also a competition band. We're a core-style band that competes on a national level. As a matter of fact, we go to regional competitions and national competitions throughout the entire fall. We put together a marching show. We've been working since the end of June, I guess you can say. We took a couple of weeks off at the end of the year last year, and the color guard folks and the drumline folks had a separate camp at the end of June, and the horn's been coming in once a week on Tuesdays and Thursdays, sometimes twice a week on Tuesdays and Thursdays, to work on the music and things to get ready or get conditioned to get ready to do the band camp. Last week we actually did have band camp out there, and it was probably one of the hottest weeks I've had in quite some time. Yeah. But the kids did a fantastic job. I didn't lose anybody last week. We stayed out in the morning, while it was still cool. Got to be around 90 degrees around 12 o'clock, but when that happens, we come inside and we hang out here working on music inside, working on team building exercises and things like that, and rehearsing under the trees in the shade or in the auditorium when it's cool.
So as you can tell, these kids are very committed to their craft.
Yes, they are. I mean, it takes a lot of time. I mean, we worked 11 hours a day last week, and we worked Monday through Friday. And they were here, every single day, because they know that it's important for them to get as much of the work done now, so that when school actually starts, they can concentrate more on getting acclimated to the classroom scenarios, getting into their homework and things like that. And then after school, we just practice everything that we already know. So again, like today, we're actually putting on some more of the drill. We're almost finished with the entire show, and we hope to finish next week before school actually starts. That way, they're not having to learn new stuff and be adding that to all of the other pressures that they might have starting with school.
Well, we do know here in Danville how good the Marching Eagles are, but they've been recognized statewide and across the Commonwealth of Virginia over the last couple of years. And last year, especially, you were awarded a blue ribbon. Now, tell me a little bit about that recognition from the state.
Yeah, well, the blue ribbon is not necessarily a part of the marching band, but it's a part of the music program. Right. All of these kids are a part of the concert programs that we have here at the high school. The blue ribbon award was earned by the music department here because both band classes, both the wind ensemble and the symphonic band, of which the marching band is a part of, the symphony orchestra and the concert choir all attended the state concert assessments this year and all received superior ratings. And by doing that, the state recognizes that particular school that can accomplish that as a blue ribbon school for the entire school year. And this past year, I believe it was 66 high schools in the state of Virginia that received that particular honor. And this was the first time in my tenure that I know of that this George Washington High School received that honor. Okay. So we are very, very proud of not only the band, but also the orchestra and our choral program, of which they're members of each one of those programs in the marching band.
So kudos goes to the entire music department here at George Washington High School for that blue ribbon recognition. And Mr. Purvis, I know another staple of the Marching Eagles here in the community is the Dixie Classic. And I know for our viewers at home, many of them have attended that before, and there'll be another Dixie Classic this year. So tell me about when that will take place, and then also some of the other trips that the Marching Eagles will have during the fall season as they take their show on the road.
Yeah. The Dixie Classic is the largest fundraiser that we have for the band. I mean, of course, trying to move the band around the state and around the region, it does take a lot of money. The school does give us funding and things like that, but it doesn't cover everything that we need. The Dixie Classic is our contest that we host on September the 24th is the date for this year, and it will probably start around 2 or 3 o'clock. We send out invitations to about 200 bands in Virginia, North Carolina, and sometimes in South Carolina and West Virginia also. And we'll get anywhere between 10 and 20 bands that'll come, and it's a contest for them to come out and show their band programs and compete for prizes and things like that. It's a wonderful opportunity for our community to come out and be entertained for the evening, because you're going to get tons of variety of different things going on from each of the bands that do actually participate. And we have a lot of our local bands that come through, so that's going to bring in a lot of folks from the Danville, Pennsylvania County area. And we would just love to have a lot of people come out to support that. It's going to be here in the stadium, like I said, starting around 2 o'clock or so that afternoon, and more information will go out in the public. That's our sort of precursor to what we get ready to do for the rest of the fall. Okay. We will be attending contests in North Carolina and Virginia throughout the entire month of October, and sometimes we even go into November, early December, depending on the parades and things like that we're doing. We're actually doing a regional contest in Winston-Salem this year that's going to be promoted on a national level at Glenn High School in Kernersville, where we'll get a chance to compete with a lot of the bigger bands that in North Carolina that we normally see when we actually travel down that way. So it's our goal to try to expose the kids to as many things musically outside of the city of Danville, and to give them an opportunity also to travel and to possibly spend the night in a hotel where some of the kids would never get that opportunity to do that, and learn social skills. How to, hang out with other kids, be away from parents, but how to respect themselves as young people and do things like it's expected out of good members of the community of Danville.
Very good. So as you can see, there's a lot more than just playing an instrument when it comes to being a part of the marching band. Life lessons learned every day with Mr. Purvis. So that's always great to hear. And we know you have a great group of kids. That's why we're here today, because we wanted to showcase what they bring to the community. And as you can see, they'll be traveling around the state of Virginia into North Carolina and showcasing Danville at its finest throughout that time. So we really appreciate that. So what I want to do is go out and get some video of the kids performing. And I know we're actually going to go out on the field, because for our viewers here who can see you all out on the field, you'll be practicing sometimes till 9 o'clock at night. I know sometimes, right?
Just during the summer.
Yeah,
just during the summer. When school actually kicks back in, we go from 3:45 to 6:30. Yeah. Mainly because the kids need to get home.
Right.
They need to get home and do the homework. It's first and foremost, academics come first. If they're not doing what they need to do in the regular classroom setting, they can't participate in our program. So we don't, contrary to what people might think, we don't stay out there till 9, 10 o'clock at night. I have a family also, and my wife wants to see me a little bit. Yeah. I also wanted to, before we finish, I also wanted to say that, I have a wonderful staff of people who are working with us. I have several employees of the Danville Public Schools that serve as assistants for me to help work with the kids. They are very, very supportive, some of which were former students of mine in the GW program. They work super, super hard, and I would be it would not be good of me to not recognize the work that they do with the program also. And we have a wonderful band parent organization that works to help support the kids, providing the fundraising activities, the food during band camp, the chaperoning during the games and things like that. They volunteer their time to make sure that the children have everything that they need. And so that's a wonderful organization to work through. And I've been very fortunate over the years to have a good support team. It's not just me. It's about the team that we have to make everything work well.
Well, as Mr. Purvis mentioned, if you would like to support the band, we have the website up. It's been up throughout the entire show. You can log on to find out when they'll be holding fundraising events. And as Mr. Purvis said, the Dixie Classic is their largest fundraising event. So you want to come out and see the Marching Eagles at that time. And I know I can't wait to see them on the football field on Friday nights here in the city of Danville. And best of luck to you all as you hit the road during the fall season, representing Danville so well as you've done over the last 30 years.
I appreciate that. I always say, go Eagles. Go Eagles. That's us.
Good. Well, thank you, Mr. Purvis, for joining us today and sharing a little bit of your time and your students' talents with River City TV.
Thank you, Mark.